Ladies and gentlemen, I think this sets the record for the guest who's returned to the show the most.
Hey.
Please welcome back Bella Thorne.
Thank you. I love being here. This is like my favorite of all the interviews is when I come here.
She lies so
No,
well.
seriously. No, really. Plus, the camera's not on me, so I could just be in whatever ugly position that I can fit my legs into.
Right. Well, this isn't our normal studio, so it's an awkward setup, but she came in, made herself at home. She has her legs up and just relaxing like she's at home.
Yeah.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that you have that kind of comfort to just walk right in. And especially the day, the trip that you've had here in New York, you did Kelly and Michael, and you did a whole bunch of other press and where you got to, be proper and prim and, looking your best, sitting up straight.
You should see me because my mom always, like in regular life, she's always like, Bella, your back. I'm going to get you a back brace. If you don't fix it, like it's seriously bad. I just can't let you walk around like this.
Stop slouching.
Like, all hunched over. My legs are like, my boyfriend's always like, baby, you're wearing a dress. Close your legs. And I like don't.
Well, you've kind of got a little bit of the tomboy feeling in you. Yeah.
You have no idea. Wait till you see me.
I think
not
we
in
talked
this
about
outfit.
that last
Total
time.
Tomboy, yeah.
For those who listen to the show, we had you on for Alexander and the extremely long title for that movie.
Splendid.
And then the last time was for The Duff and MTV Scream. And we also talked about
Splendid.
Your face is still all over Cocoa Pebbles.
Is it? Because
Yeah.
I actually went in the, I was actually in the grocery store and I'm looking and I'm like, wow, I'm really freaking butthurt right now that my face isn't on that cereal box because they put back on the cartoon and I was like, hello guys, where am I?
No, you're still there. I went back and I was like, you know what? Last time we got a couple of boxes, you signed them and we gave them away. And I was like, oh, maybe we'll do that again. I said, no, we did that last time. But they're there. I saw them in the store. Now that could mean that they put more out or it wasn't selling well.
I honestly, hey, it was selling well. Don't give me that. I honestly, being on a cereal box is probably one of the top coolest things that's ever happened to me.
It is. I would frame that thing.
So cool.
I'd cut the box, have it professionally framed right on my wall, or get them to give you the big, the mock-up, the big high quality version.
Oh, I don't want that.
Just huge.
No? I don't need all that face.
Put it right outside so all the neighbors see.
Too much of me.
Look who you're living next to, what you're dealing with. Well, there's more of you now because now you're in Alvin, the new Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, which is a great thing. You're playing a pop star.
Yes.
Ashley. It's called The Road Chip. This is the third one, right?
This is the fourth.
Fourth one. So many of them. And our friend Jason Lee is playing David Seville as always.
Oh, yeah.
He's awesome. You know he's a skateboarder before all this, right?
I had no idea.
He was a professional skateboarder and then got into a bunch of Kevin Smith's movies, and then his career took off from there.
I did not know that. I thought you were about to say Justin Long, and I was about to be like, oh my God, I love Justin.
No, Justin Long also did Kevin Smith movies. He did that weird Walrus movie that just came out last year.
Hey, you know what? I
Tusk,
heard.
that's what it was.
Yeah, Tusk. My brother said that was such a good movie.
It was.
But just so gross that a lot of people, like, at the end of the movie were like, oh, like they didn't know what to say to their significant other because they were so...
They didn't know how to recommend it.
They were so physically disturbed from watching the movie, but I really love movies like that. You don't understand. Those are my favorite movies. If somebody is mentally disturbed, that's my favorite.
Well, we'll get into some of the other mentally disturbed roles that you have coming up and what you did in Scream, but let's focus on Alvin and the Chipmunks here. Now, it's a great family movie, and it's a good alternative for an unfortunate weekend where it's coming out against the biggest movie of all time, Star Wars. But if you don't have, a lot of people have kids that they can't take to Star Wars because they can't handle the action, some of the violence, things like that. This is the other movie. There's always good to have two movies on an opening weekend. The adults can see, that the families can see, and that's what this is here. This is a great opportunity for people to come and especially Alvin and the Chipmunks fans.
Yeah.
The other three did really well, so of course they're going to do a fourth.
Yeah, the other three did amazing, and I hope this one does just as well. I completely understand if it doesn't because of the monster that we're going against. I always have really bad luck, though, with movies because, Blended went against Maleficent and X-Men, and Alexander went against something big, too. So I always just,
Baby steps.
Come on, guys. Just give me a clean opening
You're
here.
past, but yeah, you're right. You're past the stage of cutting your teeth. You're a seasoned professional at this. Give her a huge opening weekend.
Guys, please.
But here's where it works out in your favor because, of course, that thing's been, hyped for the last 3 years. They've been promoting that movie. get the opening weekend out of the way. You're going into the holiday season. All the kids are home. Parents are going to have to do something with these kids. I think the movie's going to do really well in the next stage going into all of that.
I really hope so. It's such a funny film. If you love the rest of the franchise, which everybody does, then you're going to love this one even more. It's got the same, mischievous humor. You have, great characters. You have some new characters. Alvin's hilarious. There's so many, puns and jokes, and there's dancing.
Alvin
and singing.
played by Justin Long.
Yeah. And it's just really it is a really great movie to see with the family.
Even the Chipettes in
the
this
Chipettes
movie
are
there,
so cute.
and they're all because the way they do the processing for the voices, I was trying to who is this? Must just be a voice actor. Then you go look it up, and you're you don't realize the amount of celebrity voices that are in this movie here. I mean, you got Christina Applegate, Anna Faris, and Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory playing all the Chipettes. Mm-hmm. So it's just everywhere you turn, it's there's another name, there's another name. This is a really big deal. Mm-hmm. So Ashley is your character. She's playing this pop singer here. What is Ashley's role as far as the movie?
The Chipmunks ask her for a really big favor, and the character is really sweet and very just down to earth and humbled, and doesn't let her fame get to her.
Right.
And she does. She helps the Chipmunks out in a really big way, and the Chipettes. And you'll have to see exactly what she does if you go see the movie, but it's pretty cute, I must say. Now,
from the trailer and everything, the basic outline for the story is that the Chipmunks are worried about David Seville's new girlfriend, mm-hmm. that if something goes on with them, that he's going to leave them alone, mm-hmm. which is what kids think. If you have a single parent and they're going to get married, they kind of wonder, well, if that relationship happens, they're going to forget about, the kids and the family and stuff like that. So this is going on. I'm guessing they're asking a favor. Maybe it works out for the couple. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. You have to go and see it.
Gosh, I just have a feeling that it does.
Well, especially if they want to do a fifth one. It would be smart to make that thing go really well.
And it goes against the second Star Wars of the new ones.
Right. It's you're going up against it. God damn it.
Yeah.
I just can't win on this thing here. Doing the pop role is not... it's not in your usual wheelhouse, doing singing and things like that. Was this sort of a new experience? Were you singing at home and then got to do it for this?
I am not the biggest fan of singing, I must say. I just don't believe I'm really good at it. So, I just don't enjoy the hours in the studio. It's a very hard life those singers live.
To go through that process, I guess you didn't have that mindset going into singing. You kind of came out of that with that, this is not the thing?
No.
No?
I auditioned for Shake It Up, and I literally in the test was like, guys, why am I here? I don't sing. I don't dance. I'm not funny. I don't know why you guys like me. And they, our creator was like, no, you're this character. It doesn't matter. We will teach you how to dance. It doesn't matter. We're going to teach you this. We're going to teach you that. And, they did. And I'm so thankful for it. And, Disney asked me to do this song, and they were like, oh, it's just one song, whatever. It's a few lines in the song. It'll just be fun. Please do it. And I did it. And, I was not great, obviously. And then the song ended up being really big. And then they asked me to do another song. So then I got voice lessons and stuff and started really working on my voice because I don't want to put out something bad. I don't want to put out, shitty music.
Right.
So I wanted to work there and get there. And I did another song that, went gold essentially. And then I realized oh, okay, this isn't too bad. And then going through it, I love acting so much. It doesn't even compare. And
acting is your end all.
Yeah, and if I'm focusing on something else and taking away from my acting ability, then it's not necessary for something that I don't completely love with all my heart. Now, I did just recently do a film called Midnight Sun where I had to sing, but it was a very different type of singing that I've ever done, and I must say that I was very surprised on how much I enjoyed it.
Was Midnight Sun the one with Schwarzenegger's son,
mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. I think that was just announced the last time I talked to you that was all happening there. With the Disney stuff, and they said, no, don't worry about it. We'll teach you to dance, sing, and all that stuff like that. What kind of pressure was it? Because usually a lot of the people that come out of the Disney world, the TV world, are actors, they're singers, they're performers, they do all this stuff there. Was there kind of pressure to kind of mold you into that while doing Shake It Up and those things?
I think if you're in the spotlight, there's pressure no matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you do or who you are. If you're in the spotlight, there's always going to be pressure. You just kind of have to take a deep breath and, look the other way. But I knew that they, wanted to get me started into singing and stuff. And at the end of it, I kindly declined because, I just knew it wasn't for me. But I think, and no matter what kind of business you're in, there's always pressure. But when I remember going into my first dance class with our choreographer, and I was crying. I literally cried the whole entire dance class because all the dancers were so amazing. And the girl, Zendaya, she's always been a dancer since she was really little. So she was also amazing. And I had 2 left feet. I literally had I couldn't even bounce on the same rhythm that everybody else could. And I was crying because I was in the front and all these dancers that have been working so hard and are so amazing are in the back of me doing great. And I'm standing in the front looking like...
Was it one of those studios that has the mirror right on the wall there so you get to see everything?
Yeah, you get to see everything. Oh. And for the longest time, I was so embarrassed of how I danced. I looked at my feet the whole entire time. And my choreographer... Because then when we started shooting, it was always a problem because I was always looking down while dancing. So I was really self-conscious about it. And so they had to really teach me to just look up. I would look anywhere else at the ceiling because I was just so nervous of people looking at me while dancing. And then I got over it. And dancing, I will say, is one of the things that I'm so thankful for that I did that show, because I probably would have never danced without it. I would have never been able to, really push myself into that place. And I'm so happy I did. It's my second love. I can dance anywhere, at any time. If nobody's dancing, I'll make sure everybody gets up and starts dancing. I love to dance.
I understand that. That does seem horrifying. That's almost like public speaking. When they go up and make a speech in front of all these people.
Oh, you have no idea my fear of public speaking. It's really bad because I had to get up in front of the class when I was younger and read, and the teacher would always make me, and I have no idea why. She knew that I couldn't read, and she would constantly make me do it, and I would cry. When I get really nervous, I start to cry. I don't know if you know that, but I will actually start to cry because I'm so nervous.
So if you watch any of her projects, if she starts crying, it's nervousness. It's not acting skill. All right. Do you think this is something you're going to do or push for more in the future with future project now? Because you still have some kind of involvement. I can't say really what it is with the second season of Scream. And then you have a whole slew of movies coming up in the next year or two, but they're all thriller, psychological, horror-based kind of things like that. I'm trying to see where the movies are here. Shovel Buddies, Amityville, another Amityville, and Keep Watching there. So you got some time to get your dancing and your singing skills up to par while you go and do those things. You can practice on your own without having to be in the public for it.
Yeah. I won't be practicing those things. I will not be practicing. I'm strictly focused on what I'm there to do every day. And, on my off time, I'm studying film. A lot of people study acting in very different ways. People go to classes. Classes never worked for me. I'm terrible with a coach for some reason. I have no idea why. I love to study film by watching it and just, appreciating, the art. If you watch a film with me, you don't trust. I'm literally that continuity. I mean, did you hear that ADR? What is going on here? That is terrible. And I just I can't help it, but I'm just oh my God, her wig. Does anybody see the wig? I just cannot help. It's like word vomit coming out of my mouth.
When sometimes the clocks are wrong.
Oh,
if you see if you've seen the time difference, it's very small. Really, you don't see it much anymore. But a lot of the 80s. When they were trying to do mainstream horror movies, like the clock over by the fireplace was like the arm is over here, then in the back in the mirror it's over here, and it's over there again.
Yeah. They really watch for that more strictly now, but because I want to.
Yeah, that's a fireable offense now. I think.
Yeah.
It's not like that's just a trivia footnote. Now people get in trouble for that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Also, with days and times, it gets really mixed up in film so easy. And then you are like, oh no, they can't do this or that because this wardrobe is different. So, you have to put these days together instead of, and it gets so confusing for the poor prop masters that have to keep resetting the clocks. It's like, oh my God, but it's really Scripty's job to be like, hey, by the way, that clock is wrong. We're watching it.
Right. Your acting skills, you're doing something right because I saw in the, you did a Facebook chat for Alvin and the Chipmunks. And somebody asked how you got the role, and you said that it was unreal because you just went in for the audition. They gave you the job right on the spot. So, that's kind of cool to go in and then you nailed it. We don't need to see anybody else. You are the person for this role.
Yeah. I think a lot of people ask me how I prepared for this, and this is a lot easier than anything else I've ever had to do because I think the director Walt just realized how I'm just so similar to this character. Actually, I've dealt with the paparazzi. I've dealt with that kind of stuff. I act just like her in various different ways, and I have done my fair share of singing. So we're pretty much. He definitely saw me in that character and was like, "Oh, there you go. Might as well film it. That's a character."
Right.
But this isn't all of my acting abilities. Just wait till you see the rest of the films, please.
But this is a great franchise to be a part of, because the history of the Chipmunks is well over 50 years old, and the fact that it keeps reinventing itself and regenerating for different generations and projects and whatever. This is a cool thing to look back one day. When you have kids and you go, "There's mommy in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie," and then they don't believe it's you, and that's not you singing. No, that is mommy singing, and you have something good to look back on there. Besides, all the other cool stuff that you've done too. And you've had the Disney time with the Disney, which hopefully you'll be back in another Disney thing again. You got the horror stuff, you got the Scream stuff. You're all over the place, and that's a good thing. You're showing that you're not just one specific kind of actress. You can do all these different genres and these different roles. You do the music, you do the dancing. You also have the book. I wanted to talk to you about here, Autumn's Kiss. What is the mindset or the time frame for you to sit down and actually write this? Is this something that you kind of had to have somebody with you to nudge you to keep going, keep doing it? Or is this something that you go, I'm going to sit down and try to crank this out the best I can?
I think that with any form of arts, you can't really, sit down and be like, oh, hey, I'm gonna crack through this. The book and the stories can't sound written; they have to sound lived. So that's really important. And the way you kind of make that happen, hopefully, I did it in the book, is a lot of people tell me, oh, this and this happened to me today, or this and this was funny. Oh, my friend said that this happened to this girl, and I'll listen to it and I'll be like, oh, and I'll get all my notes on my iPhone, and I just type in my notes, this, and this for Autumn, or this, and this, and then I'll go back at the end of the day and take down all my notes, reprint them, and then make story points, and then go back to the typewriter, write a few pages and this and that. Then I'll send it to my ghostwriter, and then we'll meet up, have coffee, and we'll go over some points about it and this, and do this differently, and she'll give me ideas and that. But definitely my mom was so happy and proud that I was writing the book. She was just like, every time that I was like, oh, I'm stuck. I don't know where Autumn's going in this. I don't know, if girl's gonna relate to this character. She would just be like, Bella, they're going to, because part of you is in her, and so is everybody else that you've ever met in your life. You put in this character, so she's got to be relatable. You're gonna do it. It's gonna be easy. Just keep going.
Out of everything you've done and everything we've discussed so far, where does writing the book fall as far as difficulty in what you do?
It's pretty difficult. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't the easiest thing I've ever done, but it's one of the things that I'm definitely most proud of.
It's a lot of commitment, a lot of discipline to sit down, to focus, to get it done, and like you said, to make it sound like it's a life lived and it's spoken rather than this is just something somebody wrote. Yeah.
Page. Yeah, well, that's where, the best art comes in with filmmaking and stuff, too, because you read a script and you're like, wow, this was lived. This was not written.
I'm running out of time with you. Of course, go see Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip, out today in theaters now. Go and definitely check that out. Take the family. It's definitely a good movie for you to watch. Some things I found on the internet that, real quick, I wanted to talk about. There was a piece from something called Clever News that you did, and it was 9 things you didn't know about Bella Thorne. And they asked you about your superpower. And I was wondering if you were into comic books and stuff, because you said you would want telekinesis so you could move stuff with your mind. Are you into those kind of things, comic books, superheroes, that kind of stuff? Or
I do.
You just thought the power was cool?
No, I do. I read a few comic books growing up because my brother, I'm really close with him, and he always is telling me what's going on latest with Marvel and this and that. And those are actually some of my favorite movies. They're the most fun for me to watch. I have no idea why, but I really love Spider-Man and Superman and this and that. I think it's so cool. I'm so excited for.
Now, would you do one of those? If they came to you and said, "Hey, we think you could be another character in the X-Men," or we want to bring you into this the Marvel or DC question. Fold here.
That's not a real question. No. What do you think I would say?
I don't know.
Obviously, yeah.
Get your own. You get into the movie, you become the character, then you get your own action figure,
even if it's
Funko
not,
Pop thing, something like that.
Yeah, even if it's not DC Comics or anything, I would still love to play a badass female heroine character. Just a girl that doesn't need a man to fight the dragon. She can do it herself. I think, those are some of the coolest characters to play because they're usually very innocent, but they're also really strong. But they can also be sensitive if you can catch them at a certain, time. And I think those characters have a bigger arc than normal characters that you find in the everyday movie.
And that's a great franchise because there's a lot of longevity in that. So if you get into a popular character, you're there for the whole run because they're not going to kill you off.
I'm showing up.
Your next 10 years could be planned by Marvel Disney if you play your cards right. But let's hope 2016 that happens for you. I know you have a lot of other project stuff, but I would love to see that Bella Thorne got picked up for one of those movies.
Thank you.
And then you'd have your telekinesis powers and doing all the weird stuff that you only imagine that you could do.
Wow.
But for now, go see her in Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip. Bella Thorne on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow her there.
Snapchat Bella Thorne Dab. And Tumblr Bella Thorne Dab.
Are you into the Snapchat or doing it because you have to? Because they've been telling us to do Snapchat, and I still just can't grasp it.
My friend once told me, he tried to get me into Snapchat. I was like, no, I don't want to do Snapchat. Boring. I don't want to fall into like the basicness. And he was just like, no, just do it. He set up my account for me, the one that I have today. And he was like, just take a photo when you're at your worst or you're at your best. That's how you know when to snap. And I was like, okay. And I really didn't like it. And then all of a sudden, just got so into it, and I'm like the queen of snaps. Every time, like anybody that knows me knows that I'm like, wait, hold on, I gotta get on my snap. I like tripped and fell, almost ate like the floor the other day, and I literally got up and I was like, did anybody get that on Snap? Anyone? Did anyone get it on Snap? Because this will make my life so much better.
One more thing to live your life through, and get it out to your fans so people feel closer to you. Of course, also get the book Autumn's Kiss, hard copy right now. Is there going to be a paperback? Have they said?
Yeah, I think there is actually. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Be.
So go out and get that.
I really love.
I read a lot through e-reader and Audible and those kind of things like there on the iPad. So when you find the actual book, you never know what versions it's coming out in. So get all this stuff there. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time you're in New York.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.